Hey everybody, hope you're all doing okay. Welcome back to Siralim Ultimate. This episode we've got a nether boss fight against Loid. And you know what, let's just go for it. I don't know how it's gonna go here with less attack damage. That is a pretty bad debuff, and we know nether bosses have truckloads of hit points, but let's just try our best. Let's try to do it in a random realm first, because we went through this entire list and saw all of the realms once. Well, some of them we saw more than once. For example, the arachnid nest, which we kept going back to, and some of the ones which I went back to. For instance, if I was annoyed at having been killed by one of the master fights and, you know, stubbornly wanted to kill that master. But most of them we've seen once each, which means we are now on random realms. So let's see if we can take Loid down in a random realm. And of course the first, this is not a good realm to fight in. And these are not great realm properties, not the worst, but we could be in for a very long, drawn out, and tough battle, because enemies seem to have a lot of defensive buffs going for them. What is your macro right now? You have the reincarnation macro. So, you know what? Oh, they don't have dodge chance. Let's... okay. Let's see how bad our attack actually is. Well, it's pretty bad. Our spell damage is considerably better. Annoyingly, oh my god, annoyingly our Rift Dancer got killed, which means the extra turns we were about to take, or the extra turn we were about to take, is no longer going to happen. And now we've got to sit through this nonsense. Our Dread White is gonna get a turn. And you know what? I don't like the fact that you jokers have a rebirth. So how about I take that away from you? And oh my god, what is going on? Just use the macro. Let's try and kill them this way? Okay, that seems to have worked. But this is going to be a long slog if fights are going to go like that. Admittedly, I made it long for myself by attacking with that one turn instead of doing something more productive. But still, it does not bode well for us. Well, at least we're gaining favor ranks with... Can we... Oh, I was going to say, can we reach that statue? Oh... This Bard Troubadour. Have you shuffled the timeline? You've shuffled the timeline, you absolute asshole. Okay. You're taking a bunch of hits. I don't know. I don't know what trait you have that's giving you all these extra attacks. I think some of the enemies in the previous combat were also doing that, and it was really annoying. And why... Okay, why are we getting all those stat penalties? What the fuck is unspeakable sins? And is this gonna be a running theme? Because if it is, I'm tempted to just... This is a Spectre trait. A Night Veil Spectre, to be precise. Enemies in this race are fused with specters, so this is going to be a recurring theme even in the boss battle. So what specifically did that do? Unspeakable sins. After an enemy is healed... This is so bad. This is so bad, because we heal a lot. And not just that, but we heal a lot in tiny increments that don't even help us that much. So... Oh, well, you know what? You know what that is on the top left? That is a dumpling. Not just a dumpling, but a dumpling with a special skin. So we want to try and hunt you down, if at all possible, but we have some nemesis creatures in the way. How to start? I think... Well, you have arcane. How about we start with just do this. Just fucking do that. Okay, so that seems to have kind of worked. Seems to have kind of worked. And because some of our damage scales with maximum health, these stat bonuses shouldn't be that bad, but it is still really worrying to see. I'll show you the battle history in just a second. It is still really worrying to see something like that. Something like... Look at that. Entire pages of stat penalties. And huge stat penalties at that. Okay, let's collect another buff. Mending. Okay, like just rubbing it in our face that we can't. You know, I'm just gonna try and. Okay. Okay, so here's what we need to do with you. We need to snare you. Germinate was how we do that. And with the rest of us, I think... Let's attempt Rabbit Dementia. That's doing almost no damage. However, I am worried that if we... You know what, let's use a normal reincarnation, or you know, one of our ethereal reincarnations. That's doing some damage. And the dumpling is still snared, still bottom of the timeline, but these heals are about to... Look at these tiny heals that we're getting. Trivial amounts of health. Each time we heal, we're going to incur... Well, no, not against this enemy, because this dumpling isn't fused with a specter. I'm thinking ahead to the boss fight at the end, because if they happen to be fused with the awful enemy, then it's going to be a bad time for us. And I don't even know how many specters there are. I think now it's a time to start trying to punch our way to actually winning this fight. Okay, well, we won. What does that give us? A decent amount of levels. Ooh, and the special skin, obviously. Angel food. Always love finding a special dumpling skin. So even... Okay, that wasn't our master. That must mean this is our master. So even... when we probably lose, at least we can say we found something interesting in this realm. Okay, what is your deal? Doomsday Spectre. These jokers, after an enemy heals, we really have to hope the boss fight doesn't have any of these guys in them. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a really bad time. It's gonna be a really bad time. Fortunately, at least against trash mob enemies, we're doing fine. The other downside is because this Doomsday Spectre garbage is adding another thing that the game needs to calculate, it's just gonna slow things down even more. Okay. 2 more wandering enemies. And we've collected all the buffs that we can get. Okay. Okay. Let's focus. Let's try and do our best. What I'm gonna do is I feel like the Nether boss fight is probably gonna wipe us out. I'm going to attempt to fight the Master. Chances are even the Master might wipe us out, if I'm being totally honest with you people. But at least we have a better chance of taking them down. And then we'll at least have gotten something down. And then we can fight this boss in a different realm, under hopefully different conditions. In this case, yeah, the enemy fusion is really throwing us off badly. Yeah, let's fight this final enemy. Don't use your macro, but use your ethereal reincarnation. No Doomsday Spectre this time around, so hopefully we have similar luck. First of all, in the Master fight, and then second of all, in the boss fight. Well, there's only one way to find out. Now, before we get into any of the big fights, well, first of all, even these mini-boss combats easily could finish us off. But we need to do them because they will give us temporary benefits. So I'm gonna fight you, Stag Idol, good for you. No Doomsday Spectre this time either. But this Prophetic Spectre is making our life difficult in other ways. Yeah, it must be the Prophetic Spectre trait, because we have a Dreadwhite in our party, and he definitely doesn't do that. Next battle we take less than 30% less damage. Okay, now let's go probably lose to this Master, most likely. The Priest Master, not that familiar with this enemy type. If all of them are priests, their innate traits activate extra times. And no Doomsday Spectre, however, there is one Prophetic Spectre, which could be a bad time for us. And they are taking very little damage. Very little damage. I think what we need to do in this situation is we need a Rabid Dementia. Yeah, we are doing real damage. We did kill one of them. Overkill isn't gonna trigger because we weren't doing enough damage. The severe debuff we're taking due to the realm property. Oh, but we do get Star Pact. And I think we may have gone through this fight. There we go. Well. Well. We've already done a lot better in this realm than I would have thought we would. Now, before we rush into the Nether boss fight, wasn't there another, yeah, another one of these? We should do these. I mean, not just because of the temporary buff, but also because of the very good loot you get from the chests to the left and right. So once again, this time once again, they do have a Doomsday Spectre, so things are gonna get a bit annoying. Potentially at the end of this fight. Well, not this time. Not this time. So once again, we have our temporary buff, and let's go into this nether boss fight. See how it goes? We have to do it this way. We cannot interact with anything else in this realm because, well, I mean, we could interact with this. Oh, I should pick up this emblem. We could interact with these things and decide what we want from them. We could either do a fight for glory, which we don't want to do, or we could get buffs, which we can no longer get any more of because we already have 5 for the realm, or we could get some trivial amount of resources, which I don't want. These ones could give us favor, or they could give us a fight for more favor, but we don't want to get fights because that'll waste our temporary buff. This one is guaranteed to give us a fight for a bit of favor. And all of these are things that sound great, but which we don't want to waste our temporary damage reduction buff on. So let's just go and talk to Loid. Hey man, long time no see, how you doing? Loid is busy examining one of his pimples. That's just great, Loid. You clear your throat to get Loid's attention, causing him to jump far higher than you thought possible, and he says, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, it's you again, is it? Back for another round? Things will be different this time, I assure you. Prepare to die." Okay. Okay, now, first of all, 2 different Doomsday Spectres. Wait, no. Which Spectre was it that, So it wasn't... Which Spectre was it that when you heal you lose stats? Did this creature gain stats, enemies lose stats? I've obviously gotten my Spectres slightly messed up. Okay. After this creature defends or provokes, enemies lose speed. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. And 2 of them have the Transient Spectre, which is awful. Nobody has the Prophetic Spectre. So here's how we should do this, in my opinion. They are not healing, so we should light them eventually, but maybe down the line. Let's start off with just a good old-fashioned killing the Dreadwhite. Doing a very small amount, and we've got to hope against hope that Archangel's Blessing triggers. It did not. But now, should we use the macro again, or should we start attempting something else? And now our, Let's play it safe. Let's use Archangel's Blessing. Oh, you're blind. That's not good. Now one of our party members is dead. Okay, our duelist could be huge because he's going to confuse a few of the enemies. Okay, that's good. And we even get Archangel's Blessing. That's why I put it on his weapon. That is huge. That is huge. You are silenced, which is pretty bad. But one thing you can do, which you are silenced and scorned. I thought you I thought you couldn't have both silenced and scorned on the same target. Okay, that's it. That's his special trait. That's his special trait. Enemies can have both scorned and silenced at the same time. So can you defend? You can defend. Okay. You can cast. You can cast. So given that you can cast, what should you do? I think we should do some rabid dementia. Okay, we're doing appreciable damage. Obviously, it would be better if it wasn't debuffed by 88%. But still, we've done decent damage, and I think now's a good time to throw in a Defile with the next member of our party that can cast a spell. A few of them are gonna be confused. Our Dreadwhite is gonna get a chance to go, which is great. So with our Dreadwhite, we should cast Defile on them, just in case they had any ideas about healing. And with our Animatus, too many of our party members are silenced. We need Antidote. Absolutely, we need Antidote. Oh, why are you being silenced? Why? Okay, so what exactly is this trait? After an enemy attacks, they're inflicted with scorn. After they cast a... That... Ugh. Ugh. So just defend, I guess? Just defend, I guess? Okay, so our duelist is probably going to be scorned and silenced again. But at least he's attacking them and confusing them. Okay. This kind of it's kind of working. Our Vivifier is going to have a chance to go, so you are scorned, it's going to tell us, but you are not silenced. Not silenced because you didn't cast a spell. None of your spell chances procced. Wait. Gems sealed after casting. That is really bad. That is really awful. With that in mind, honestly, just use the macro. You know, just buff ourselves up even more. Maybe this is the way to kill them, with indirect damage. Feels like a bit of a cop-out, but like, what else do you do when so many of your attacking options are taken away from you? I would have liked to kill them by attacking them directly, but I guess this is the challenge with nether bosses, that some of them will require you to do something that's totally different from what your build is normally going towards. You know what? We've won. Completely against my expectations, we've won. And that was a prophecy task as well. What's in this chest? Nothing interesting. What's in that chest? Nothing interesting. Well, okay. And we've completed the round quest. What loot did we get from that? Nothing interesting. But, you know, it was good nonetheless. Now, let's do all these optional combats. Starting with this. What did we learn from that fight? Well, I think we got a bit lucky with the fusions that the enemy had. So which Spectre was it that had the unforgivable sins trait. Because I've obviously read that wrong. Unforgivable sins. Night Veil Spectre. Night Veil Spectre, okay. So we're lucky that none of the enemies in the final fight were one of those, because if they had been, we would have lost all our attack and all our speed, and that would have been a bad time. Yeah, just use our... a bit wasteful using a double cast of that spell, but at least it means we're likely to end this combat on the first go instead of having to take an extra turn. Indeed, 75 more. We'll even do this. The mirror ball gazes back into us. I would very much like to be attacking them. It's a quicker way to kill enemies, but not when we have an 80%, 88% debuff to our attack damage. Now a couple of them are going to come back. The Dreadwhite, of course, and the Animatus. But hopefully we can shut them down, at least one of them. Looks like maybe not. Well, we did it. Wait. Oh, I think for that combat we got an emblem. This happened previously as well when something briefly flashed and I was wondering what it was. I think it's just another emblem this time. I don't think it was a card. So for some reason that encounter gives you an emblem, and unlike the other encounters of the same kind, it's slightly glitchy, like it flashes the thing, even if your loot filter isn't supposed to be showing you emblems. Which is odd, but that's okay. Now, let's just see, what does wealth do? Is it just going to be resources, or is it going to be loot? It's just going to be resources. I just wanted to confirm this. We wasted a chance to get some favor, but I just wanted to make sure that I was speaking accurately when I was telling you not to pick wealth. So yeah, don't pick wealth. All you get is a trivial amount of resources, which you can find like thousands of over the course of any realm. Like a single fight, assuming you win, will give you more than 400 brimstone at this stage in the game. To prove that, we'll take a look at how much we get at the end of this fight. Yeah, 800 brimstone. Admittedly, I have a few bonuses, but even without those bonuses, you'd very easily be making more than 400. Alright, let's do some more glorious stuff with this. Alright, this double prophetic spectre action is kind of ruining things a little bit. They've annoyingly killed my animators, which means no corpse explosions, which is a bunch of, well, never mind. I've got to be honest, I feel like maybe those corpse explosions shouldn't have happened. Okay, look, Animatus was killed. Animatus comes back. The final thing that happens in this combat is the Animatus came back. The Animatus was killed, so between when the Animatus was killed and when the Animatus came back is when those corpse explosions happened. I don't think, again, unless I'm vastly misinterpreting this battle history, because like look at this. Animatus was killed, doesn't come back until the very last action in combat, and between him getting killed and getting resurrected, things happened. that are attributed to the animators, which seems, again, either that things aren't working the way they should, or that the battle history isn't displaying things in the correct order. Not just the battle history, but the battle itself. It seemed visually like our animatus was dead when those explosions went off. But anyway, who am I to question the game's wisdom, especially when they've given us another victory? Have we made a donation? We have. Honestly, I'm not sure what to do. Is this a divination candle kind of realm? I'm gonna say no. Not when enemies can have, you know, Night Veil Spectres that will prolong combat. Not when they have those annoying Prophetic Spectres that'll just attack us and irritate us. On top of how irritating those Uralos enemies that we're working on normally are. So we're gonna pass on divination candle enemies for this realm. I'm just gonna be satisfied with what we've accomplished. Let's just head back to Siralim and pat ourselves on the back for a job well done. But before we do it, just take one final look around, just to make sure. Yep, I'm not seeing anything. Let's just go. Let's just go home. Alright, well, one thing I will do is, do we have any prophecies for doing stuff with the gambling dwarves? We do. We need to spend 2 more tickets playing slot machines, 2 more tickets playing Siralim, and let's get that out of the way right now. Because, you know, it's been a bit of a quick-ish episode. Normally, when I do a boss fight episode... No, we needed to do... what? Slots and Siralim, so I was in the right place. Normally, when I do a boss fight episode, I'm prepared for it to go very long. But you know what? Sometimes things just work out. Ooh, we want some notoriety. Ooh, that's a huge amount. Oh, what is this? Tauren, the god of anger, has just appeared, and he's saying, "Jackpot, motherfucker!" Cause oh, we got the Tauren on the top, and then we got something else on the bottom. What is? Whoa! Whoa! Look, this is made 17 rows, 17 pages of rewards. Could some of them be cards? Maybe, or I don't know if you can get cards, but you can certainly get trait materials. We're getting a knowledge with all kinds of creatures. Yeah, trait material there. As you're right there. Yeah. I don't think I've seen any cards so far. But I'm certainly only 2,000 notoriety, but a large amount of resources, plus that very cool message from Tauren. And we have 1 more spin left. We're out of spins. So normally I've been not doing so well at the slots. In fact, multiple times I've called the slot machines a scam, but it looks like you can indeed win and win big. Obviously, if I had known I was gonna win, I would have bet 3 tickets, but because I was sure I was gonna lose, I just bet the minimum amount that we needed. Siralim, I think, is a bit more predictable in terms of what you can win, and I'm not that impressed. See, this time we just gotta trivial amount of brimstone. Power, I guess we do need, so I shouldn't be upset. Granite, another turn, sure. Trait material, couple trait materials, I guess. One turn left, what can we make happen? The answer is nothing. At least we did that. Okay. So we did something else with the final minutes in this relatively short episode. Okay, but I think that is going to be where we bring things to a close. Let's just reflect on what we accomplished. We did a random realm to fight Loid. By the way, next floor is indeed going to be Loid Prime. One more thing we could do is we can roll ourselves a good item bonus for the next episode. And I'm okay with this so far, so we'll leave it at 337. Again, a lot depends on what those hidden properties are. But anyway, this episode, we fought Loid in a random realm. It turned out to be Siralim's realm, which is a difficult place to fight in because, as far as I know, you cannot debuff enemies. You cannot even give them stat penalties. All you get are a maximum of 5 stats and potentially a 30% damage reduction temporarily for one battle, which you can save up for strong battles, which we ended up doing, and that's all you get. But it ended up being enough, but I still think we did get very lucky in both of the big fights, the one against the Master and the one against Loid himself, because the enemies were fused with specters, and some of them could have been really annoying. Those prophetic specters with their incessant attacks. What exactly was their trait? Let's take a quick look at what exactly they were doing. Those prophetic specters would attack every time an enemy gains stats, and our creatures were gaining stats almost every turn when we used our you know, the way our build is supposed to be used. When we killed the Dread White, we were either gaining health or a couple of our creatures were gaining multiple stats. So yes, those guys were being really annoying, and fortunately didn't really have to deal with that in the nether boss fight or in the master fight. So we got lucky, but we also had to play well, because we were under a very strong attack damage debuff, and our gems were sealed after casting, so it's not like we could just spam spells to make up the difference. We had to think very carefully about where our damage was coming from. In the end, we used the health scaling on our Dread White, plus the guaranteed 30% damage of its health in order to cut enemy health down, which I don't like doing because it just feels like a loophole almost, like it isn't subject to the same debuffs that other ways of damaging normally are. But maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what the game wants you to do. That if it throws a roadblock in front of you in terms of one damage type, like it's legitimate to then lean into something else. And our build did hold up very well when we had to rely on it for that reason. And in a way, this is what the build is supposed to do. It's just that I've been using the build in a more fast and loose way, relying on, you know, early attacks with just base stats rather than building up the stats the way you're supposed to. So in that sense, yeah, I guess it is a more legitimate kind of win. Now, I've kind of talked myself around into accepting that. Okay, so we did that. We beat everything. We even did all the optional combats. We did not summon divination candle enemies because didn't want to deal with that nightmare, you know, and with these realm properties. And also we got a special encounter. We got a dumpling. Not only that, but it was a special dumpling. And one thing I'll do before I end off this episode is let's take a look at what our dumpling progress is. 70%. We need to kill 30 more of them before we can summon a single dumpling. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And we got 1% of the way closer thanks to that one angelic dumpling that we murdered and then subsequently ate. If you read the description for what the dumpling is, it's strongly implied that when your characters find and kill a dumpling, that they then immediately eat its corpse. It's quite you know, disturbing if you think about it, but also kind of hilarious, at least to my twisted mind. So we did that. Like, basically everything worked out for us. It was a solid episode, nothing to complain about, and you know, I'm enjoyed. Mid-sentence, I forgot how to speak English. What I was gonna say was, I enjoyed it, and I'm hoping that you enjoyed it too. So, yeah. And I'm also hoping that you will stick around for the next episode, which is going to be another big boss fight. We've got the false god Loid Prime coming up, and I'm really excited to see that. And I hope to see you for that one as well. So until then, take care.